Kilarigbo Live TV, ìkànnì amúlùdún àkọ́kọ́ tó ń gbé àṣà àti ìṣẹ̀lẹ̀ Yorùbá lárugẹ.
My name is Ojuade Mother, the father of late Miss Monsurat Ojuade. What I want from the government is justice, because it has happened to me, and I don't want this to continue in my own country. I want justice. I don't want this guy to die in vain.
I know quite for sure that the human being that shot him, if he's a human being, that shot this girl, walked away immediately after he fired the shots and jogged back towards the end they came from.
2019, a 27-year-old student was apprehended by the police. They withdrew his money in the ATM. 6 weeks later, they found his body in the mortuary. There are other numerous cases.
As we have it today in Nigeria, it is not an issue of if there will be another victim. It is when.
Awesome. And the police did not, the man that shot her did not make any effort, any attempt, if it was to be the narrative of the stray bullet thing.
Notice will be sent out for subsequent mass action, and Nigeria should come out en masse.
Solidarity forever. Solidarity forever. Solidarity forever. We shall always fight.
Kilarigbo Live TV.
Everyone that is here, the press corps and every member of Take It Back movement. My name is Israel. I am the counsel to Ojuade family. It's just to brief us on the developments, just summary brief of what has transpired between that Saturday, last Saturday, and now, past 8 days. We are, the Commissioner of Police visited the family on Monday, I guess, with a condolence letter. He titled the visit a condolence visit, with a condolence letter. Why the family does not quarrel with the visit, they are quarreling with the intent and the content of the said condolence letter. In that letter, the police described the bullet that killed the late Monsurat as a stray bullet. We made it clear to them that based on the facts on the ground, based on the testimony of witnesses that relayed what happened, what transpired from the point she ran away from her mother's shop to the point she was shot, there was clear premeditation on the part of the policeman that shot. So we quarreled with that the police should put this, the story in the right perspective. Don't skew, don't change the narrative. Let the world know what really happened. Prior to that, the first press release from the police was that they attempted and tried everything they could to save Monsurat's life. That was the first release that came out on Monday, on Sunday. I was driving to my office on Monday when I was listening to one of my favorite radio stations, And I heard that they attempted everything they could to save her life, but we lost her. This is an insult to the family. This is a total misrepresentation of facts. It appears somebody is trying to take a jelly ride in playing on people's intelligence. It's unacceptable. I know quite for sure that the human being that shot him, if he's a human being, that shot this girl, walked away immediately after he fired the shots and jogged back towards the end they came from. So I wouldn't know at what point the police attempted to save her before they lost her. And I couldn't know how this incident could have been described from any figment of imagination. Almost simultaneously, a shot rang out. And you said it was a stray bullet. If you say you want the truth, if you say you want justice for Monsurat, let Monsurat, at least you start by telling the truth. You told us in your that press release that you have dismissed him, you have arrested him and dismissed him. As at that time he had no name. Later they gave him a name, Samuel Phillips, a certain Sergeant Samuel Phillips. We looked it up on the internet, on social media, unless if you have seen anybody like that. So we don't know who Samuel Phillips is. So we started another agitation. Please tell us, let us know the face. The family is desirous of knowing the identity of the man that shot their daughter point blank in cold blood, execution style. That is my press release, and I retain that word until the contrary is proved. She was shot point blank, close range, execution style. You came to raid, and I don't know the law that empowers you to raid. That is a different thing for another day. I don't know the law that said that we should be going on raid. And I don't know if the law empowers them to raid. What circumstances will bring rise or will give rise to such raid? Was there a riot going on at Mogaji Street? If we are coming for a raid, because based on what I heard, that they were coming for a particular armed robbery suspect, is that armed robbery suspect a man or a woman? If he's a man or a woman, does the description fit Monsurat Ojuade's person? Even if it fits it, does the law empower you to kill a suspect within view inside a compound when your men are there? You see, there are a lot of things that the police need to answer if they truly want the truth to come out. Except somebody is trying to sweep something under the carpet. Later, we insisted. Some pictures were circulated online. They said that was the picture of the man. On Tuesday, was it Tuesday or Wednesday, we were at the commissioner's office for the orderly room trial of the killer. When we got to Ikeja, as a matter of procedure, as a lawyer, the lawyer I went with, we were not allowed to go into the ordinary room trial proper. So the mother, the father, and the elder sister to the late Monsurat, who witnessed what happened, who were witnesses, were the only people allowed. We went there with about 12 or 13 of us. So they were the only people allowed into the ordinary room trial. When they came out, I asked them, one thing that also raises question was that they saw 6 suspects. The story we had was there were 4. And I know that 4 people did not shoot, or 6 people did not shoot Monsurat. 1 person shot her. They saw 6 suspects. And I asked them, based on the picture you have as the identity of the person that killed your sister or your daughter, did any of those people there look like that picture? All of them said in unison, no. That they cannot identify or situate the picture they have with any of the faces they saw there. So we are still demanding. We kept demanding. What is the identity of Samuel Phillips? We have a name, but we don't have a face. They say he's a sergeant. We don't know who he is. Yesterday, the OC crime, OC homicide from State CID was in the house. They came to take the statement of the witnesses. I raised this same issue. Sir, we know about a certain Sergeant Samuel Phillips because that was born out of our agitation, the press and everybody. We wanted, how can you tell you that you have arrested the officer, you have dismissed him, he's going to face out? What kind of aberration is that? What does he look like? The family needs to see him. The world needs to see him. Who is Sergeant Samuel Phillips? That's one question. Then why did you kill our daughter? It's very important. She was not armed. She was in her compound. She was a little girl. We forget something, that any of the 4 people involved in this matter could have been the victim. Because the mother of the victim and the elder sister were at the gate with the victim. When this man was banging on the door, he refused to introduce himself deliberately. There's so much unprofessionalism that I can decipher from all what has transpired. He refused to identify, because the family kept repeating that if they had known that somebody banging on the gate was a police officer, why should they be barricading the gate? They're not criminals. Let them come and say what and do what they want us to do. He did not. They said they thought it was these hoodlums, 1 million boss or whatever. So they were running. The only time they had about shooting or that they even knew that he was armed was when he said, I will shoot. And simultaneously, he did not even give them opportunity. Because this girl that was shot had already left the gate and was rushing to call her father to know what is happening. Immediately he left. Because they were so close to him, he was at the gate. I'm sure most of you must have been to the compound. So he couldn't have shot them, except maybe if he had wanted to shoot through the gate. So because the girl moved and he saw a space, he pointed his gun and shot, just like that, and walked away. The family said they want to know who shot the late Monsurat. It's very important to them. I reiterated that same demand with the OC Panti, OC homicide that came yesterday. May I point out a few things? I fight with the police, I quarrel with them, but I will tell you, I respect the role that was played by the Provost Marshal, one CSP Idowu Adedeji. He is a gentleman, at least to us. He was the person that presented the Provost Marshal's office. Even when there was a mad incident between us and some of his overzealous men, he came out to resolve this matter. The OC homicide that came yesterday assured us that our clients are free to come and see, because as at the time we were making those demands initially, the suspects were not with him. But now that they are in Panti, they assured us that our client can come and see the killer cop. But it's not just all about our client. The world needs to know the identity. The world needs to know. An injury to one is an injury to all. You are here. None of us is related to, even the family has not even arrived. We are still expecting them. But we are all here because we have the interest of this girl at heart. Anybody that is injured amongst us, all of us has been injured. And we have to stand. So the world at large needs to know the identity. It's not enough to tell the family to come and see the culprit. We must see the culprit, and we must identify him as Samuel Phillips. And we must ensure that he's a policeman, duly enlisted as a policeman. Because when things are done, I wouldn't know why it would take 1 week, or 8 days, or 10 days. Since you say you have identified him, from Sunday last week, you have already identified the culprit. Why is it taking such a long time to make his identity known to the world? It's a concern. On Monday, we were also called that the autopsy will be carried out on Monday morning by 6 a.m. in the morning. The family or their representatives are supposed to be there. So for now, this is the summary of what has transpired between then and now. Our clients don't still know the identity of the man that killed, and the stray bullet narrative has not been changed till now. We demand that since he wrote an official letter describing the incident as a stray bullet, let another letter be written, putting everything in the right perspective. This girl was killed point blank, not by a stray bullet, execution style, because the lady was not in any way resisting arrest. Nobody even told her that she was being arrested. Nobody even knew the identity of the police, of the person that shot, until after the shooting. Thank you so much.
You are going to cover a press conference after a girl has been murdered. And we have been involved in so much of these cases, and it is getting too much. We are tired. But I don't know for the police. Maybe it is a thing of delight. Maybe. But this will just have to stop. My name is Comrade Ayoyinka Oni. It's plenty, but it's very important. Because apart from reading the press statement here, we're also going to send it to the member of the press. Police brutality in this country, and especially in Lagos State, is lengthy. I intentionally made this press release to be lengthy. It's a big problem that we all need to tackle as a citizen, as a movement, as a community, so that we can put an end to this. I don't want to come here again or come to another location to be doing press statement. There's no joy in it. There's no joy. My comment is here. 2020, we're involved in Tina's case. Also very pathetic young girl of 16 years. Just this year, the government started by playing games of announcing that SARS has been disbanded just like they have disbanded it so many times in the past years. But still yet, the criminalization of young men, iPhone, laptop, dreadlocks, jeans, and all sorts still continue. When this was rejected by the NSAS protests, they resulted into calling protesters anarchists, freezing of accounts of protesters, attacking journalists, sending thugs in government buses to attack protesters while the police stood and watched. NSAS ended badly because the government chose to play games instead of solving the problem. If thousands of young Nigerians that came out to protest wanted to start with violence, they would have started with violence instead of singing, dancing, eating, and calling for justice. These were the events that led to the post-NSAS. And for the cases that we're having now, we don't want such games post-NSAS. The post-NSAS did not start by 7 p.m. at Lekki Tollgate, like we all have been saying for months. It started in Mushin, and I was fortunate to be there. After October 20, they have started killing people already in Mushin. From Mushin, it moved to Lekki, Alausa, another part of Lagos. The event of security agencies hunting citizens, as well as some citizens also hunting the police by burning down stations, buildings, and other places, should not happen in Lagos again. But this may happen again if brutality does not end. That this community is so calm after an 18-year-old girl was killed shows you how sane Nigeria is. This cannot be done in Mexico or Brazil. They will burn everywhere down. But Nigerians are sane. They don't want to die. They don't want anybody to die. That's why an 18-year-old girl can be killed. We all came into this community, see how quiet everywhere is. Then if Nigerians are sane, why are we treated like animals? The Special Anti-Robbery Squad, that's the SARS. This was an agency formed to combat armed robbery and other crimes. Today, SARS has become a dreaded word. SARS was created as a mass police unit to perform undercover operations against violent crimes like armed robbery, car snatching, kidnapping, and all sorts. how they moved to attacking and harassing, killing of young Nigerians is a known mystery. Just in 2019, a 27-year-old student was apprehended by the police. They withdrew his money in the ATM. 6 weeks later, they found his body in the mortuary. There are other numerous cases. These are the things that Nigerians passed through before we came to essence. Imagine how patient Nigerians was. Lot of physical harm, psychological harm, intimidation were meted on innocent citizens by these units. A serious government would have genuinely ended SARS in a long time, but they kept on playing politics with deadly and criminal police. Since 2016, Amnesty International has already indicted SARS, maintaining that the squad was responsible for human abuses, cruelty, treatment, degrading treatment on Nigerians in custody, shooting of detained in the leg, and mock execution and threat of torture, as well as hanging, physical assault, killings, and other widespread torture. In 2017 a petition was signed by 10,000 plus people. Sometimes the National Assembly called for dismantlement of SARS, but as usual, they swept it under the carpet. I'm saying all this to tell you how much has been swept under the carpet in this country. And we don't want these cases of Monsurat, which is recent, Jumoke, and AG, that was killed in Ikorodu, Panti also, to be swept, under the carpet. Now, moving straight to Monsurat's case. The tenure of Prince Muyiwa Adejobi, that's the former PPRO of Lagos State, ended with a 25-year-old Jumoke Oyeleke killed by the Lagos State Police at the Yoruba Nation protest. Unlike Monsurat, she had no chances of survival because she died on the spot as the bullet pierced through her heart. This is surely a bad way to end for the former PPRO. Adding to all the killings and the brutality that happened in his tenure, Jumoke should not have died. The tenure of the new PPRO, CSP Ikunle, starts with the killing of 18-year-old Monsurat Ojuade by an officer called Samuel Phillips. And this is surely a bad way to start. Monsurat died as a result of police brutality and lack of proper training of the police officer. A superior officer led the operation, and he allowed a junior officer under his watch to kill an innocent lady right in her family house, causing sorrow to the family in the name of police raid. I dare to ask, what is the meaning of police raid exactly? If the police, we believe that if the police have an information about crime, suspects should be tracked down and apprehended peacefully. Why do you have to raid a community? For what? I was coming down when I dropped Asele, task force people parked. Immediately, the motorcycle guys were running. Why do police have to cause such panic in a society? The officer who murdered Monsurat during this illegal raid initially requested access into her compound without warrant or invitation before she shot her immediately. Monsurat also died due to lack of standard healthcare system in the country. No serious country will allow its healthcare workers to go on strike for many months. She reportedly died on arrival at the third hospital after the first two hospitals she was taking rejected her because of doctors' strike. A statement by the PPRO of Lagos State Command, CSP Ikunle, that Erin Officer Philip has been detained and will be charged to court is acknowledged, but we will follow up to ensure the family get justice and are well compensated, not just in the case ending in a statement. We just make statements like it's enough. Decisive action needs to be taken. It is possible Monsurat Ojuade be the last victim of police killing if the government do the right things. We know that if officers have been properly punished in the past, the issue of police extrajudicial killing would have stopped. We all have children. When your children err and you punish them properly, they will stop doing it. Or even that's what they are going to do it again. Some children are stubborn. It will take a long time. But when officers' cases are covered up, they are pampered, they transfer them, they tell them they have taken them out, but before you know, you see them in another location. Those are the things why these officers come back to do things like this repeatedly. Police denial tactics and protests. One major tactic of the Lagos State Police is to deny incident of killing or brutalities with misleading statements before later succumbing when evidences are so much against them. The police are yet to apologize for any of the lies and denials that they have done in the past. This denial tactics was used in the case of Jumoke Oyeleke, and the Yoruba Nation protest that was killed, Tina, who was killed at the Oroshoki in 2023, the case of Kolade Johnson, and AG Omolola, as well as Monsurat's fresh killing by the police. For AG, he was tortured, but the police said underlying illness. Will AG die if he was not arrested? The question, the answer is no. He won't die. If you didn't arrest him unjustly, will he die? They arrested him and he lost his life. We urge the police to put a stop on police brutality and killings instead of denying, blame it on accidental discharge whenever innocent citizen is killed. Nigeria is not the only country that have staged massive protests against police brutality. Other countries have done this. And when this protest has done, like the recent one that was done in the United States for George Floyd, decisive actions are taken to solve this problem. During the COVID-19, more Nigerians died of police brutality than the COVID-19 itself during the lockdown. Because they are violating lockdown. Do people die? Do people die because they are violating lockdown? The things that are happening in this country, they are so terrible. And that's why we are calling on the Nigerian police, the government, to put a stop to this. Now, we are not just going to tell them to put a stop to this without looking at the problem and giving them the solution. Because I must tell you, the government cannot do this alone. Not this government. Not this government. They cannot. There's no political will or interest to stop this. I'm a very realistic person. If a member of the House of Lagos State son was killed yesterday, and today another member by police, today another member of the House was killed today, trust me, they will put a stop to police brutality. But when you begin to hear the names of the people killed, in courts, they are the children of nobody. But they are not the children of nobody. They are citizens of this country and must be treated with dignity. So they don't care. If they care, we shouldn't have had an NSAS with all what SARS have done in this country. The problem and the solution. The problem of police brutality is partly rooted in the system of recruiting, training, promoting, and disciplining officers. Many countries have had this problem in the time past, but they have consciously reformed this system, often with the right political will and help from international communities. Nigeria always seek help when it's time for loan. When it's time to solve problems, we will not. But when it's time for loan, we seek help. Going forward from all these cases of police brutality, the major one is corruption, impunity, lack of political will by the politicians to do the right thing. There's a need to build state, national, and international mechanism to hold abuses officers accountable. Some communities in Jamaica and Brazil are now war zones due to police brutality. The Nigerian police and the Lagos State Police should get the publication made by the United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime in policy makers and police agency leaders on police accountability. This publication explained that good policing is policing with the legitimacy on the basis of public consent rather than repression. The necessary accountability requires internal and external mechanisms to investigate and punish police misconduct, sets priorities for policing that addresses communities' need, and root out corruption and abuses. Must be done intentionally by the government, not just words. Say they have disbanded SARS. Where are those officers now? Where were they put? Which place have they been put into? Do you understand? Not just statements. Not just statements. Now, our actions. We ask Lagosians to get ready in resisting police brutality from community to community. See, no movement or human rights organization or human rights activists can do it alone. No. Trust me. Whatever the name is. Communities have to stand up against police brutality. Not until when someone dies. The slightest brutality, the slightest irritation by police should be complained immediately by the community. The local government can councillors, the chairman should not sleep when there's police brutality. Communities should bombard their offices. Why are they there if they cannot protect the people? The state government, the police stations around should be bombarded by the people. When the community is giving the policemen in their community heat on police brutality, they will sit up. They will sit up. But when we leave police brutality to lawyers, to activists, and think, oh, it's enough. No, it's not enough. We are citizens. We should be active citizens. We should not wait until someone dies again before we stand up on our feet. The smallest brutality should be resisted with all we have in line with the law. Lagosians should get ready to work with the police and the government from local government to local government in the attempt to ensure a better police system. Every abusive and brutal officer of police stations should be exposed on daily basis. Send it to us. You know, an officer that is messing up, send this picture to us. Let's give him publicity. You cannot be doing evil and be hiding. No. Let's give him publicity. If possible, give us his picture of his family. Say that's his wife. Are you talking to your husband? These people are not ghosts. They are human beings in our midst doing all these things. They have families. They have children. Sometimes I wonder, how can you shoot another human being and still go home and face your family? How? What kind of heart do you have? How can you steal money from people, get them to ATM, collect their money, and still take that money and go and feed your family? How? What kind of heart do you have? So when things like that happen, send their pictures to us. Send their family's pictures to us. Let's expose them. We cannot be waiting until there's death before we react. The Lagos State Police Command should get ready for a series of weekly actions. That's what we are promising. Weekly actions against police brutality. It is too much. If in July we had the death of Jumoke, in September we had the death of Monsurat, and AG was killed too. That means we'll be getting death every month, and by the time we calculate it, and these are just the cases that are reported. Please don't even assume that only 3 people were killed by Nigerian police in the past 3 months. No. These are just the cases that are reported. Not talk of the brutality and the injustice. So are we going to wait until they start taking us one after the other? We must do weekly actions against police brutality. We cannot keep waiting until we get killed by trigger-happy police. We want the Nigerian police, Lagos police, to get the good people of Lagos State peace so that they also can have peace. Are they having peace? They are not. Do you know what? Nigeria is the most unpoliced nation in the world. And there are so much crimes in Lagos. There's at least someone sitting down here that have not been robbed before. If I give you the mic now, start telling me your story, you tell me. Cultists, thugs, everywhere in Lagos State. We have terrorism creeping down to the east, to the south, to the west. Even right here in Oyo. The Lagos police have so much work to do in preventing terrorists from coming to Lagos. They have so much work to do in cultists and cultist thugs. Why are they killing people? Are they that jobless? When there's so much work to do, we need to remind them of all these things. And to tell you so that you should know and care. Nigerian police is the worst in Africa. Go and check online. The worst. That's the police that are protecting our lives. You should be scared. They're the worst. Countries like Rwanda, Botswana, they have better police system. Rwanda had a civil war too. There's no excuse for police brutality. Even when you decide to solve a problem, you will. Rwanda have a civil war longer than our own. And now they have a good police system. So what's wrong with us? What's wrong with us? We need to remind these people of all these things. Who is going to be the next Jumoke Oyeleke. Who? Eji Omolola, Monsurat Ojuade, and others who were unjustly killed by the Nigerian police. Who? Could be me, could be you. Loads of people have been tortured daily. Could be me, could be you. Could be any of us. We cannot continue to endure all these things. We cannot continue to cry. We cannot continue to put families in forever. 2 million donation or 2 million compensation is nothing. The guy that was compensated at the panel, a 35-year-old man thrown from a story building by the Nigerian police, 35-year-old man, he cannot walk, he's paralyzed down. It's his mother that is changing his diaper. A mother that changed his diaper of his son 35 years ago is changing it today. Because the police don't decided to be happy. Even criminals, you don't kill them. They have the right to live. Apprehend them, let them investigation, interrogation, and let them face the law. Is it that difficult? Why? Why are we treating each other like animals? Why are we killing each other for sports? Even animals are beginning to have re-evolution. You see lion playing with dog. You see lion in people's houses. So why are we, the human beings that are supposed to socialize, we are killing each other? We need to take police brutality very serious. The government is not ready to take it serious. We take it serious and put an end to this. Monsurat has died for no reason at all. No reason. No reason. She has died. She must be the last. Enough is enough. We don't want to be crying for people. 2 million naira, 3 million naira will not bring back Monsurat. The mother will just wake up one day and just cry. After 10 years, she will still cry. 2 million naira cannot bring back Monsurat. Why? Why are we killing each other? Enough is enough. And I want you to say that with me. Enough is enough. One more time.
Enough is enough.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. I would not like to repeat everything that has been said. My name is Femi Adeye, and I'm the National Police Secretary of the African National Police. Also a member of the Kilarigbo Affairs. Like our lawyer here said, he made mention of something which I will just try as much as possible to make profound. You do not say something is stray when a statement like "I will shoot" comes out from your mouth first. There is nothing stray about that. And I think that is the first thing that must be made very clear, that that was not a stray operation. The problem we have in this part of the world is that our justice system is so punitive. It is not such that prevents crime. If we had a legal or justice system that prevents crime, there are so many instances of police brutality that should have ended police brutality. Now, immediately you look at the circumstances surrounding that police brutality situation or that event. Any serious government should take all of the details in that event, take them into cognizance, and make sure that things like that do not repeat itself. But because ours is a society where what we enjoy doing is to condemn. When things happen, you hear the federal government condemns this, we condemn, so we don't prevent. But as a people, we are gathered here today to say we do not want to continue condemning. We want to make sure that there is a stop to all of this. Because as we have it today in Nigeria, it is not an issue of if there will be another victim. It is when. An issue of if it will happen to you, it is when. So we must, come together, like the Take It Back coordinator has made it very clear, that we must take decisive, strategic, political actions, against police brutality. We must make sure that erring officers are brought to justice. And in any case, where justice is not brought, where they are not brought to justice, the people must bring them to what? To justice. If justice is not taken to them, justice will just find a way to get to them. I also want to add that all of us here today must not allow, this kind of case to end with a press conference. It's very sad that these days when we come together to discuss, it's about one sad event and another. And then after discussing for 5, 10, at maximum 1 hour, it ends with a press conference and everybody goes back to sleep. Then we wait for another hashtag. We wait for another justice for, these days when you go on social media, if you just use that hashtag justice, before you're done, you will see the name of somebody again. Justice for this, justice for that. We are always using hashtags for just, So we must not allow, things like this to just end with, talks. We must put all of this talk into action. And that is why, the African Action Congress is here, ably represented by myself. We have the Take It Back movement, which is, a revolutionary, movement. We also have here the Coalition for Revolution, which is a network, open-ended network of civil society and left organizations across Nigeria to make sure that justice is served. And we only have an option that we're giving to the police, is that justice is served or justice is served. Thank you very much. I think we have the family. Just chip in 1 or 2. Yeah.
Once again, my name is Bawola Goku. I'm here on behalf of Coalition for Revolution. And our demands remain sacrosanct and clear. During the NSAS, if you remember, there was demand for public trial of policemen, killer policemen. We didn't ask for orderly room trial. We are against it that when citizens get killed, police will start saying they want to do orderly room trial, a secret trial. And they'll also hide the identity of the policeman. These are not the demands of the citizens. And an orderly room trial where the counsels are limited and not allowed into the room is not fair enough. And we know that this continuous killing is fostered by the impunity. That is, it is motivated by a lack of punishment for those policemen. Now, as the barrister spoke, we are here to identify the killer. What does that mean? You want to show only the family the killers? So how do we know that this Philip is even a policeman in the first place? How do we know it's not just a convict that they want to use to swap for this guy that shot Monsurat? And we need to understand that Coalition for Revolution, our demand and our strategy remains clear, which is that we must unite for a revolt against bad policing. We must meet, we must organize, we must discuss and make our demands clear through a mass revolt. This last year we did October 1st protest, and one of the demands were end police brutality. And that protest was just 7 days before NSAS started. This year again, the demands are still the same. We are demanding end to police brutality and all anti-people policies. And we are calling for another mass revolt. We are calling for another mass protest because we know and we are fully aware that the Nigerian police and their paymasters, they don't fear press statements alone. They don't fear your meetings. They don't fear your grammars. What they listen to and what they respect is being on the ground, putting your feet on the ground. Protest, what they fear and listen to is mass action. So we are using this opportunity to call the entire citizen, Nigerians, to come out in unity to demand end to police brutality, not just for Monsurat Ojuade, but for Jumoke, for Ejioye, for Jimo, for Kaka, for Nicholas, who is still in prison. Yeah. Nicholas that recorded the Ugeli killing. The Nicholas that recorded the killing is still in prison. So we are demanding for justice, and we are also demanding that all citizens should come out on October 1st. I am speaking on behalf of the Coalition for Revolution now, in solidarity with all the victims and family of the victims of police brutality, and in continuous demand to killings and kidnap for ransom called raiding and bail. What Nigerian police call raiding and bail is not surveillance. Their raiding is not surveillance. Their raiding is come into the street, pick 20 people up, then take bail from them. The same way bandits will go to this highway,
kidnap,
pick people,
and ask for ransom.
So they are doing kidnap and bail racketeering. And since NSAS, we have seen over 100 stories with evidence where police kidnapped people under the name of raiding and asked for ransom called bail. And we have also experienced killings of innocents. So we know that this is the right step in the right direction, and the lawyer have spoken eloquently enough. The fight does not stop.
Yes.
We must attend the court cases. If it is a panel, we must attend it. We must not leave it to the lawyer and the family. Like we all came here today in solidarity, we should continue in solidarity as united oppressed citizens, regardless of our affiliation and coloration. And I want to remind us again that notice will be sent out for subsequent mass action, and Nigeria should come out en masse to resist this.
Of the government. That is where he is formally indicted. Then the process of the dismissal will commence. So his trial has not commenced
At all.
By the time we approach the court for whatever we're going to, for the civil matter aspect, or when the police will formally prosecute him, we will always be in the team. I will always hold the watching brief for the family during the course of the trial. We're not going to abandon the family. It's not just about making a noise. I was telling somebody yesterday, we are talking about Monsurat today. We don't know who's going to be tomorrow. And once that happens now, attention will shift from Monsurat.
Yes,
we cannot continue in this demonic circle.
Yes.
There is something demonic about this setting. We cannot continue like this. So please, as I have said earlier, we are ready, we are capable, we are able to get to the root of this matter. But by the time we finish on Monday with the autopsy, then we know whether we can even go further for the coroner's inquest. I think for now, we are leaving it at that. Let us see what happens at the autopsy on Monday. Then we can take it from there. Please, I don't know if you have any question you want to ask the press corps. You have any question, please? Yes, sir. Please introduce yourself, sir. Because of where the Scotch was shot, the arteries that were severed by the bullet, she stood no chances of surviving. As a matter of fact, Monsurat died in that compound before they took her out. The family was only holding against hope. You know, they were just hoping that a miracle would happen. Not until the point they wanted to do CPR. And God started calling for CPR. That was when they discovered that she was gone. But the truth is that she died there. Maybe there could have been pulse, very minor pulse. But the truth is that because of the blood she lost there, maybe if she had been shot before in front of a hospital, and immediately that same second she was taken in, maybe, just maybe, if in a test man, maybe she could have been salvaged. But from the way she bled at the spot, because the father told me that immediately this thing happened, he took her immediately to the hospital. Because he was coming out, and I was trying to say something, that the victim could have been either the father, the mother, this sister, or the girl, because 4 of them were involved. The father was just rushing out. When this incident happened, because she was calling on her father to come, oh, somebody's banging on the door. Then the shot rang out. So the shot could have caught him. The sister was at the gate with the mother, so he could have caught any of them. But unfortunately, he caught this little girl. So I think you should be put in the proper perspective. Monsurat stood no chances of some. And the police did not do, the man that shot her, did not make any effort, any attempt, if it was to be the narrative of the stray bullet thing. If I had saw somebody mistakenly, I will do everything at that point in time to salvage the situation. I think the world will see that it was a mistake. It doesn't take away the fact that you have killed somebody, but it makes a difference between murder and manslaughter in our laws. With there been a case of stray bullet, that is why we are against the police narrative. She did not die by a stray bullet. It was an execution-style murder. And this guy murdered this young girl in cold blood. There's no two ways about that. And that is what the family is insisting, that we are expecting another condolence letter from the police commissioner stating obviously that the bullet that killed late Monsurat was not a stray bullet. It's important to them. There must be a closure. The closure and healing cannot commence for the family if the truth is being swept under the carpet. She has repeated her story more than 20 times. She will not continue repeating the same story. Before now, they will say that she said was there, and she said is there. She has repeated her story. Please, can you introduce yourself, sir? Are you the person I've been speaking with? Okay, it's the AY. I cannot properly. Okay.
Sorry,
kí ni nǹkan tí ó ṣe é ṣe kó jẹ́ àwọn ìgbésẹ̀ tó kàn lẹ́yìn ọ̀rọ̀ tẹ́ ń bá àwọn oníròyìn sọ lásìkò tá a wà yìí láti rí wípé ìdájọ́ eléyìí tó yè koro tó fẹsẹ̀ wálẹ̀ ó ṣẹlẹ̀ lórí àwọn ìwà láabi ìwà kòtò eléyìí tí àwọn ọlọ́pàá wò ní pẹ̀lú àwọn ọ̀dọ́ àti àwọn tó jẹ́ ọmọ orílẹ̀-èdè Nàìjíríà ó jẹ́ ìbéèrè.
Yes, I will interpret. Thank you, our Yoruba speaker. It's very important to carry everybody along because of our culture. So the question is very simple. The question is asking is, what are the steps after this press conference that will be takeable legally and in terms of politically to solve this problem of Monsurat? And not just for Monsurat, also other victims of this brutality.
As I have said during my briefing, on Monday, this is a process. It's not an event. On Monday, we shall be at Lasuth, Lagos State University Teaching Hospital, for the autopsy. After the autopsy, because the family is really desirous of getting these sad incidents behind them, they want to bury their loved one. It's important to them. But they cannot do that in a haste without getting facts and figures right before burial. They will not bury her twice. So the process will continue. That's why I said that even the coroner's inquest, we'll look at it, the need for it, after Monday. But we are going there on Monday for the autopsy. Anybody here who is a journalist must have had my Facebook page. Every official information on this matter is always on my verified Facebook page, every day. What we are doing today will still be on my Facebook page. I always update it every day, so that anything, if you don't know my name, my surname is spelled M-B-A-E-B-I-E. Israel is my first name. If you go there, every day we brief on developments, because this matter cannot be swept under the carpet, I assure you. Because if we continue saying, and we are not even leaving it as just briefing, it's just for the press. The press, if you do not carry it, I cannot be a lawyer and be a press corps member at the same time. So we have a lot to do with the media houses. If you go to my Facebook page, even on Monday, after the autopsy, I will still update. So we do that on a daily basis if this incident happens. So what will happen after the incident, back to your question, will depend on what happens after the autopsy. Of course, the family is approaching the court. There's no two ways about that. But that's not the most important thing now. We needed to get the preliminary things done with first. So we are not in a hurry, though the family wants their loved one to be buried, which we believe that by after Monday next week it will be clearer. And of course, when the burial is fixed, everybody will be informed. We will know where it is. I must attend the burial, and I'm sure most of us will have interest to attend the burial too. In solidarity with the family. That's all what we are doing. Justice, justice, justice. Because we don't know who another Monsurat is going to be. It could be me. That is always on the firing line with the police. It could be anybody. If we can stop this at this stage, many lives could be saved. Thank you.
Àti lọ bí gẹ́gẹ́ bí àwọn ti ṣe mọ̀ nínú àwọn ìwádìí kódà lánàá òde àṣùwọ̀n ní ilé ẹjọ́ kan lè tó wà ní ìlú Lẹ́kì àti náà ní eléyìí tí wọ́n lò láti rí pé wọ́n bọ́ nínú ẹjọ́ àti àwọn ẹ̀sùn eléyìí tí wọ́n fi kàn. Bàbá àwọn pẹ̀lú gbogbo ìwà eléyìí tó ti gbogbo àwọn iléeṣẹ́ ọlọ́pàá lára lásìkò táwọn ìpàsì wípé ó ṣeé ṣe láti gbé ẹjọ́ kí wọ́n tún yí sí òyì sọ̀rọ̀. Tàbá wò tí ó bá dé wípé ó rí bẹ́ẹ̀ náà, kí ni ìgbésẹ̀ tẹ̀yin rò wípé ó ṣeé ṣe kí ó jẹ́ eléyìí tí a tún gbé láti rí pé nǹkan ò bẹ́yìn yọ àbí kó tún di wípé irú nǹkan tó tún ṣẹlẹ̀ lásìkò tá a wà yìí tó fi mú kí ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ torí ó fi ìṣẹ̀lẹ̀ tó gbomi lójú ẹni ni tí ò tún fi ní ṣẹlẹ̀ mọ́ ọ̀nà wo là ń tọ̀ láti rí wípé ìdájọ́ eléyìí tó yè fún láti ọ̀dọ̀ ẹgbẹ́ ti yín jẹ́
ní ṣókí lórí ọmọ pé àwọn Yomi náà á ní wá ní nǹkan láti sọ lórí ọ̀rọ̀ yẹn. Ṣé rí nǹkan tó ń pè ní police brutality, nǹkan tó ń da country. Àwọn Egypt ní 2011 wọ́n ṣe revolution kan. Revolution yẹn, it was against police reform, and ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ ṣẹlẹ̀ ní reform yẹn. Tí wọ́n ò bá fẹ́ fún wa ní justice, àfìjàgbara la wa, àwa máa wá gba justice. A lè jókòó káwọn èèyàn máa kú. Nǹkan tó ṣẹlẹ̀ sí Monsurat yìí, ó ṣẹlẹ̀ sí ọgbọ̀n èèyàn ká tó ní ensars. Èèyàn tá àti ẹ̀mọ́rúkọ wọn, mí tó àti ẹ̀mọ́rúkọ wọn, ọkọ̀ máa máa nǹkan lọ sẹ́wọ̀n, wá pa wọn unnecessarily. À ń sọ pé even criminal ó ní right láti live. Ẹ má pa criminal gan. How much more ọmọ ìlú tó ń ṣèyàn tó pààyàn? So a kò ní jókòó, àwọn lórí àwọn máa ṣe tiwọn, panel ní ṣe tiwọn, adúpẹ́ adẹ̀rí bẹ́ẹ̀ àríkẹ́ wọ́n try láti yí. So àwa ò ní dúró de yẹn nìkan, à jà fún kinní yìí, à lọ bá wọn níbi tó wà, àdé gba justice. Tí ọmọ èèyàn ò bá ní sinmi, tára ló bá ní sinmi, ìjọba náà gbọ́dọ̀ sinmi. Gbọ́dọ̀ ẹ̀dẹ̀ ká sinmi. The social economic issue, poverty wà ń bẹ, gbogbo ẹ̀ wà ń bẹ, àwọn èèyàn gbádùn and struggle, ètò ń pa wá for what? Fún kíni? So a kò ní filẹ̀ fáwọn legal nìkan àti police nìkan, a máa jà fún kíni, a máa bọ́ sí street, a máa bọ́ sí títì, anywhere tá a ti lè jà fún, a máa jà fún, iṣẹ́ ta wà ní.
Then 1 minute sí nǹkan tó sọ. Káàkiri gbogbo àgbáyé kò síbi tí nǹkan táwọn olóyìnbó ń pè ní freedom tó ti wà absolute or liberation tó ti wà absolute. Tẹ́ bá wò dáadáa, àwọn Reverend Martin Luther King wọ́n jà fún ẹ̀tọ́ àwọn aláwọ̀ dúdú ní Amẹ́ríkà nígbà yẹn. Ẹ̀yẹ ò túmọ̀ sí wípé nǹkan kan náà tí wọ́n jà fún nígbà yẹn o, I'm talking 70 years ago, pé kò máa ṣẹlẹ̀ ní orílẹ̀-èdè Amẹ́ríkà. Irú ẹ̀ ló fa ti George Floyd tí ọlọ́pàá yẹn tún pa. So kí ni yẹn sọ fún wa? Ó ń sọ fún wa wípé tá bá ń jà fún nǹkan kan báyìí, ká má lọ ṣe kí ni, ká má lọ sinmi. It is, you know, a progression, it is a continuum. So nǹkan tó ta gbọ́dọ̀ máa ṣe òun ni. And another thing ta tún gbọ́dọ̀ understand ni wípé nígbà tá bá ń jà irú nǹkan báyìí legally, tá ń lọ court, tá ń lọ gbogbo ẹ̀, there are also political actions tó gbọ́dọ̀ máa bá lọ. Mo ò lè gbàgbé ìgbà kí EndSARS tó bẹ̀rẹ̀, a wà ní wọ́n arrest wa ní October 1 protest. A wà nínú ọ́fíìsì nàbí premises commissioner of police. Ta ṣe ń gbọ́ pé EndSARS ṣì bẹ̀ ṣẹlẹ̀ and all of that. Níbi tá jókòó sí láti gbọ́rọ̀ òbọn ẹ̀ẹ̀mejì nínú ọ́fíìsì commissioner of police, o the premises of the commissioner of police, a gbọ́ ìró òbọn lẹ́ẹ̀mejì. Mo wá béèrè lọ́wọ́ ọlọ́pàá tó wà pẹ̀lú wa because at that time wọ́n ní ká jókòó sílẹ̀ ńlẹ̀, we are protesters now. Mo wá béèrè lọ́wọ́ ọlọ́pàá yẹn pé ìbọn ni mo gbúrò ẹ̀ yìí, ó ní abẹ́ẹ̀ ni wọ́n ti jẹ́ kó mọ̀, bóyá sọ́ni ẹ̀ ó ní wọ́n ti jẹ́ kó mọ̀. Mo wá ní ta ló jẹ́ kó mọ̀? Ó ní suspect tó ń torture lọ́wọ́, òun náà jẹ́ kó mọ̀ yẹn. And this is against the Anti-Torture Act of 2011. So if you have any suspect tó ti wà ní custody yín, tẹ́tí interrogate, ẹ tún fi ìbọn interrogate èèyàn, kò sí ní ṣòro dàgbé kẹ́ gbébọn wá sórí mi sí kẹ́ ní kí n ṣe mo ṣe nǹkan báyìí, màá ní mo ṣe náà ni. That is because you are obtaining, you know, evidence from me, or you are obtaining oral evidence from me by duress. Kò ṣe pé mi ni mò ń sọ̀rọ̀ yẹn, tipátipá lẹ fi ń gba nǹkan yẹn lọ́wọ́ mi. So there are a lot of issues lórí ọ̀rọ̀ police brutality yìí. Ṣùgbọ́n nǹkan kan ta ní ni pé nílùú ni wípé a ní ọ̀pọ̀ òfin, you know, òfin ti pọ̀ jù nílùú yìí that are just good on paper. Òfin ti pọ̀ jù, òfin wà everywhere, Anti-Torture Act, anti-brutality, anti-everything. Ṣùgbọ́n àwọn òfin yẹn àárí ìfarahàn ẹ̀ lára àwọn tó yẹ kó máa àwọn tá a máa ń pè ní agbófinró. Wọn ò gbé òfin ró. Kí ló ń ṣe sófin? Wọ́n já òfin lulẹ̀ ni, wọ́n bà òfin jẹ́ ni, àwọn ò gbófinró. So nǹkan tí ìbéèrè yín tí mo rò pé bóyá mo dáhùn yẹn. Ẹ ṣé. Any other?
tó o bá ti sí ìbéèrè mi
Yes, I think the father will just summarize.
all right.
What does he actually want from the Nigerian police and from Nigerian Lagos State government and Nigerian government in general? What does he want? It's good in English now.
My name is Ojuade Mother, the father of late Miss Monsurat Ojuade. What I want from the government is justice, because it has happened to me, and I don't want this to continue in my own country. I want justice. I don't want this guy to die in vain. That's what I want.
Thank you very much.
So, gentlemen, thank you so much for coming. I think we call it a day.
Solidarity ever, we shall always fight for our rights. Solidarity forever. Solidarity forever. Solidarity forever. We shall always fight for our rights. There is victory for us in the struggle.
Kilarigbo Live TV, ìkànnì amúlùdún àkọ́kọ́ tó ń gbé àṣà àti ìṣẹ̀lẹ̀ Yorùbá lárugẹ.